this lovely afternoon. I hope you enjoyed your summer and feel really ready to kickstart this new school year together with us. And it's not just every other school year. This is the year when we're turning 10 years. And today is the day when we're going to celebrate it together with you. So we're doing this together with you, for you today.
And tagging on to Peter, I also want to welcome everybody. I'm really sorry we couldn't control the weather today. It was probably the worst day to have a kick-off, but I know that the kick-off is going to be fantastic because instead of having a keynote like we usually do, it's going to be our employees who are going to perform for you. So, let's get on.
So, throughout today, we'll be taking a look back in time and also using the crystal ball to look forward in time to see what we think is in store for us. The success continues. And tonight, it's dinner and dancing. More about that later. To help us and guide us through the day, we have Bella. Please welcome Bella with a warm applause.
Hello everyone! It's so good to be here, and one of the best privileges with being the moderator is I'm allowed to scream. And I love to scream, and I would like you to scream. Are you ready to celebrate? Yeah! One more time, are you ready to celebrate? Yeah! Here we go.
That's the spirit.
I love that. So, it's been a pleasure working with these two guys
I can only say the same.
in preparing this afternoon together with you, because it has all been about celebration. You need to celebrate the talents at your school, your fantastic employees, and
we have so many of them.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. And for me personally, my little girl, 6 years old, she started school Wednesday this week, and I'm terrified. I'm hysterically nervous. It's like, do you have a friend? Was the teacher nice to you? And what did you eat? And she's like, Mom, could you please stop it? And
send it to us. We'll take care of that. No problem.
And I really am a fan of you guys taking care of our children every day, and I think usually the parents are the pain, not the children. So I'm one of them. Yeah.
We know nothing of the sort.
My girl's teacher already looks at me with those eyes, you know, like. Anyway, there are going to be a lot of people on this stage. We have a minute-by-minute schedule here. I'm going to be a teacher, sort of telling people to shut up, continue, go further, and what have you, take a break, so forth. And
we've been living with her for a week, so we know.
But before I do, I would like to hand over the stage for you, Marie.
Oh, yes. Thank
and
you.
You and I go and have a seat.
We'll do that.
Okay. I asked for a few minutes of this because I've been with Futuraskolan the whole 10 years since we took over, and I also know that this is going to be my last kick-off with Futuraskolan. So I thought I'd I thought I'd share some of my reflections. You know, when I was 12 going on 13, my family moved to Australia, to Melbourne. And I was placed in a school in Melbourne. And at that point, I'd had 3 years of English in a Swedish school. And it was approximately 1 lesson a week. So my English was, to say the most, minimal. And my home language was Swedish, which didn't particularly help me in Australia. I also lived in a country which was less than 100 years old. So people around who lived there were mostly new Australians. And I'm saying that because it set a little bit of a tone for how I think about education. I took the principalship of Gåshaga in September 2007. And at that time, the school had been running as another school for a couple of years. And I thought, okay, what's my goal with this school? Like I think you say, when you come in as teachers or principals, what goals do I have? And my goal then was that education should accommodate future world citizens. I thought that we should be progressive, we should keep a front of the latest research of how children learn. We should be energetic and happy, because energy and happiness goes together. If you're happy at your work, you've got energy. And here we are today. We are living our vision at Futuraskolan. We have energetic people here, and we are progressive with our bilingualism, our programs of learning. And the reason why we're here is not because of me, because of all you. The leaders out there, the teachers, the pedagogues, other staff, auxiliary staff, kitchen staff, our caretakers, all of us have contributed to make Futura the success that it is. Because people do want to work with Futuraskolan. There's lots of jobs for teachers today, but people read about us. Yes, I want to be with that school. Parents want to send their children to our school. We have queues in all our schools. And that's because of you. There's also because of something else, and that's a well-functioning managing body, the board. And I'm really pleased that the board made time to come here tonight, because a lot of you know Marlene, who is our board chair, because she's on the floor and works a lot with Peter and myself. But we don't know the rest. Would you like to stand up so that we can put a face? It's Karin, Anders, and Fredrik, and Marlene. And thank you. And the board has been enormously supportive in our journey. And the journey hasn't always been easy. But at all times, we have always felt the utmost support for the ideas that were good. And the other thing that has been very good for us is that it's been financially secure. And that's a very important part. So there's a lot to be thankful for. And the other thing that I wanted to bring out was one other goal or drive that I had was to start an international school. And I mean an international school that does not carry the national curriculum. A school that could be where the children can transfer their learning to other parts of the world. And I wanted that school to be affordable, not just to people who had their companies paying the school fee, diplomats and so. I wanted to be affordable to people who came here, maybe as researchers, maybe as engineers, who needed a transportable education for their students. And you know what? That's what we have today. We have a school that's now in its 7th year, doing very well. And Chris, who is here today, who was the first appointed principal of that school, is going to talk a little bit more about that. Today we also have 2 people in the audience who have been invited by me as special guests because they carry the history. It's Kiki and Sarah. You can stand up if you like. Sarah. When you stand here, I can't see you because of the spotlights. But Kiki, both of them have been a real support to me. Kiki was at Futura before we took over the school, so she has a little bit of an interesting thing about how it was to become a Futura school as it is today. She's going to talk about that. And Sarah is going to talk about opening the very first international preschool for you. A very short talk. So So we have lots, and as Peter said, we got lots of things happening this afternoon. I just want to leave you with this, and then I'm going to get on with the show. I always believe that if you really believe in something and understand what you believe in and understand how you're going to fulfill that, then when you have difficult meetings with people, could be authorities, it could be co-workers, it could be staff, it could be parents, it could be children, it becomes a lot less if you're fully aware of that. This is what I want to do, and I think that's what you all believe in what you're doing here. So those conversations, you will be able to cope with those. Thank you. And now, Kiki takes the show.
Vi ser den här. Ja. Hej, jag heter alltså Kiki och jag känner flera i publiken som ni är idag. Eftersom jag tillhör den utrotade sorten som pratar svenska. För jag jobbade på Futuraskolan redan innan det blev internationellt. Och jag är väl den som pratar sämst engelska utav alla. Men jag kan om jag måste. Men ni får försöka förstå mig vad jag säger idag. Jag minns så väl när vi blev inkallade i matsalen på Gåshaga. En eftermiddag, all personal, våra dåvarande rektorer, ägare bad oss komma in. Och det var spänt i matsalen. Och då såg jag ett gäng som jag inte kände igen. Och då presenterade dåvarande ägaren familjen Börjesson som skulle ta över och Marie som skulle bli Gåshagas rektor. Skolan var ju jätteliten då. Jag tror att vi var 80 elever på Gåshaga eller någonting. Så det var ett litet gäng. Jag minns att det blev lite tyst bland alla och jag tänkte, jag som alltid vill prata, jag måste väl säga någonting, så jag ställde mig upp och så sa jag, välkomna, det här ska bli kul, sa jag. Och det var precis det blev, för att när Marie klev in som rektor, då öppnades dörren in till rektorskontoret och det skrattades där inne och jag blev så nyfiken för jag ville gärna vara med och skratta. Och då klev jag på och sa, skrattar ni på jobbet? Det kan man väl inte göra? Och då satt Sarah Drew och Therese Beer satt där inne. Och jag förstod aldrig riktigt vad de gjorde, men det ska väl Sarah berätta senare. De hade i alla fall vansinnigt roligt, och så jag vill gärna vara där. Stämningen blev spännande och sen gick det ju väldigt fort med det mesta. Det anställdes engelska lärare och jag vet att jag var idrottslärare så jag var ju nära eleverna, inte rektorer och så, utan jag var ju nära eleverna och de var ju rädda för att prata engelska och men jag förstår inte hur de bar sig åt. Jag har inte lärt mig ännu så mycket som de kunde på ett år. Men i vilket fall som helst så flyttade vi efter ett par år. Då byggdes, skolan hade varit från 0 till 5 och så var det en massor av förskolor runt omkring i Gåshaga. Och sen byggdes den ut så det blev ända upp till årskurs 9 och så blev den tvåspråkig. Och då flyttade vi till Dalenum och vi pratade just om när det var, men det kan ha varit 2009-2010 och jag fick följa med och det var jättekul. Så att jag hade i princip de här eleverna från årskurs 1 till årskurs 9. Så jag såg ju dem när de inte hittade kalsongerna efter gymnastikträningen och inte tordes gå in i duschen till de gick ut 9 och hade basröst och skäggstubb. Så för mig var det ju fantastiskt trevligt alla de här åren. Jag minns att när jag jobbade på Dalenum så var jag på en lektion som, jag antar att det var fysik. För det var Steven Seff som höll i den. Och han sitter ju här någonstans, fast jag ser inte. Och pratar ju bara engelska. Och prata fysik på engelska, det är ju jättesvårt. Och han gjorde det. Och eleverna räckte upp handen och de svarade. Och det var som grekiska för mig. Men så stor förändring blev det. Under alla de här åren så jag kan väl säga att det här har varit bästa perioden. Som ni ser så är jag ju inte nykläckt lärare, utan jag hade väl jobbat i 35 år innan. Men de här 10 åren jag jobbade för Futuraskolan, det var så mycket, skratt gillar jag, och det var så mycket värme och så fantastiska elever. Och jag hade jobbat på gymnasiet tidigare, så jag visste inte vad föräldrar var för någonting. Men det var mycket föräldrar och de var alltid trevliga och intresserade. Otroligt bra föräldrar och elever. Jag skulle kunna stå här hela dagen och berätta om olika episoder som jag fick uppleva, men jag ska inte göra det, men det var hemskt mycket kul. Jag kan säga en. Jag var i matsalen på Gåshaga, så kom det en liten, det var en förskolekille som sprang förbi mig och så sa han: "Är du 84 år?" sa han. "Nej", sa jag då, så var han borta. Och så kom han tillbaka och så sa han: "Är det 22 då?" Nej, så jag är inte det heller. Men alltså unga i den där åldern, de är ju härliga. Jag hade ju inte upplevt det tidigare på det sättet. I vilket fall som helst så har jag, tycker jag, alltid blivit lyssnad på, och skolan har ju alltid tagit kliv framåt. Ibland har det gått så fort som man har snubblat, men det har alltid hänt någonting, och det känns som att den här skolan är på väg framåt hela tiden. De saker jag bidrog med, kan jag säga, lite, det var att vi åkte till fjälls varje år, till Riksgränsen med årskurs 5, så de fick se hur det såg ut på fjället. Och de fick åka tåg i 18 timmar, för det tar ju det att komma upp till Riksgränsen. Och sen fick de gå upp till Trollsjön, heter det, och där var det en liten sjö där vi käkade lunch och så travade vi ner igen. Så de gick 14 kilometer fram och tillbaka, och det var brant och skrovligt. Och ett år hade jag rektorn med mig. Och då fick jag för mig att vi skulle gå en genväg. "Ja, det går bra", sa Marie, "vi gör det." För jag hade hört talas om den här genvägen. Och vi kom, alltså jag vet inte om ni vet hur det ser ut, men det är ju höga klippor och stenskravel. Och plötsligt så stod vi där med 20-25 barn och så några föräldrar. Och jag greps av panik. Jag tänkte, nu börjar jag grina, jag går härifrån. Och vi fick lyfta, det var så höga klippor så vi fick lyfta upp barnen, för de var ju bara så här. Och så tittade jag på Marie och så sa, det här kommer att gå pipan. För det var ju djupa skrever också. Och då sa Marie, det är lugnt, Kiki. Jag har varit med om värre. Och jag har släktingar i Australien, vi kan ju alltid flytta dit. Och det var ungefär på det här sättet vi jobbade hela tiden. Marie var som en rock och det var aldrig något problem, utan allt gick bara lätt. Ja, det var väl det. Och sen, nu ska jag sluta med 2 grejer. Och det är pekpinnar som jag inte har fått lov om att säga.
Jaha.
Ja, jag säger det ändå. Det första är, eftersom jag nu jobbade som lärare i alla fall 43 år och har varit med ett tag, fast jag inte får vara med längre. Jag blev utsparkad. Nej, jag blev inte utsparkad. Jag kände trycket att nu är det nog bäst jag ger upp. Och då var jag 67. Men i vilket fall som helst så vill jag säga det att som lärare, och jag träffar ju många unga lärare under de här 10 åren med Futura, och det har ju blivit så konstigt, jag tror Bella nämnde det också, att det är föräldrarna som bestämmer. Men jag kan ju ha fel, men om det är så att ni som lärare eller pedagog känner att föräldrarna bestämmer vad vi ska göra, vad vi ska sätta för betyg och hur vi ska bete oss, då vet jag efter all erfarenhet att det är ni lärare, pedagoger som är proffs. Det är inte föräldrarna. Så glöm aldrig det. Det var ett politiskt meddelande till er. För glömmer man och tror att man måste göra allt som föräldrarna säger, då tappar man ju bort sig själv. Och då kan man ju inte ha den här strategin som Marie pratade innan att vi vill ha en skola i framkant. Och det kan vara svårt. Föräldrar de är ganska besvärliga. Nej, jag vet inte. Det finns något som är besvärligt. Och sen så ska jag säga en sak till som jag inte har fått lov att säga. Men det är ju det här. Idrotten är det viktigaste ämnet. Tack, jag vill bara säga tack för att jag fått vara med alla de här åren. Jag är så glad att jag fick vara här idag. Tack för det.
Fantastic with the history. Now over to something else. When we planned this afternoon, it became very soon obvious that you're a bunch of extremely talented people at Futuraskolan, not only in your daytime job, but also as entertainers. So instead of hiring someone extremely boring and expensive, you will have the unique opportunity to meet some of your gifted colleagues throughout this afternoon. So we will start with Rino. Please give her a warm applause.
उस जालिम ने चाक पर हमने कलेजा रख दिया चाकू की नोक पर मेरा चैन बैन सब उजड़ा जालिम नजर हटा ले मेरा चैन बैन सब उजड़ा जालिम नजर हटा ले बर्बाद हो रहे जी बर्बाद हो रहे जी तेरे अपने शहर वाले मेरा चैन बैन सब उजड़ा जालिम नजर हटा ले बर्बाद हो रहे जी तेरे अपने शहर वाले
Fantastic.
Costume, yeah.
Brilliant.
Or national
Like
dress,
a-
I suppose.
Marie, could you do that?
Yeah.
Let's see that
I
on the
wouldn't
dance
care.
floor tonight, right? Both of you guys.
Yeah, we'll show you tonight on the dance floor.
Okay, let's talk about your preschool. What was the drive to start the preschool to begin with?
Well, we've always believed that if you're going to start with a bilingual international education, you should start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So the concept of Futuraskolan has always been that we should have preschools that can actually grow up until year 9 and hopefully very soon to year 12.
Mm. And also like giving something extra, because when we started out, having the international profile wasn't so common then, I would say.
Okay, so what's so special about the preschools today?
What's so special about them? Everything is special. You have to, you know, if you want to answer that, you should walk into one of our preschools. We have a model of learning that actually promotes learning at a very early age through play. They speak English. They speak 5 languages, some of them, because the brain is so adaptable to new languages. So it's actually is the very early years you should start introducing languages. And you know, what we said, energy, happiness, that's in our preschools.
Yeah, I totally agree with Marie. And I would say the diversity that's all around our preschools, a lot of cultures, a lot of languages, people come from different parts of the world. It's really something that gives something extra, I would say.
Thank you. Now we're going to listen to a success story about Brunbergsvägen. So please welcome Sarah, Christy, Therese and Kim.
I'm back. There's only one reason to leave Futuraskolan, and it's if you move, which is the only reason I left. But 2007, a year that changed everything in education. Yeah, Futuraskolan took over, new owners, that. Anyone know what else happened 2007? Yeah, Brunbergsvägen, of course. Ida, you don't know what happened 2007? Ida. Steve Jobs. The iPhone.
Uh-oh,
It was
Ida.
released in January of 2007. 10 years ago, but that's not what we're celebrating today. But I am going to use it for my speech today. So, that happened 10 years ago, and at the same time this family came in and took over. In August of that year, 2007, we had a new VD, we had a new principal, we had a new family, we had everything that was new, and the 4 of us started
during the fall, and we started either in the fall or in January, because in January of 2008, Brubashvägen started. And that first day, we had 8 kids. They came and they knocked on the door, and they were happy, and they were hopeful. And we were happy, and we were also hopeful. And after that, we were able to get up to 20, and then we were able to get up to 40, and somehow along the way, it started to spread that this was a pretty good preschool, I think. So it took maybe a year or a year and a half, and we had all 120 kids enrolled, and we had a waiting list. And things were very good. So we learned something along the way. We're all going to share what we think you need when you're going to open a new preschool. Therese?
Teamwork. Is this working? You need teamwork. You need coworkers that you trust, and you know that they're going to do their part, you're going to do yours, and beyond. And also, you need good coworkers that help you put a lot of IKEA furniture together, and also help you wake up from nap time, because I love being able to sleep at work with the little kids. It's perfect. Also, in teamwork, there's a lot of trust. I mean, we needed to trust each other, that we get things done. We needed to trust our leaders, and we needed the parents to trust us to take care of their kids. When we had a preschool that was a work in progress, which a preschool always should be, but even more so when we didn't have rooms finished. We had like 2 or 3 rooms ready, and yeah. Well, anyway, teamwork, and in teamwork there's a lot of flexibility, hopefully.
Yes, flexibility. Every time we thought that we had routines down and schedules, 20 new kids would start, and then we had to rethink toilet time and sleep time and lunch time, and we're like, what are we going to do? And with flexibility, there's also a lot of imagination and creativity and working with what you have. And we didn't start with much, and a lot of the things that we had were used, but through collaboration together with the children, with the parents, and with trust from the leadership, we came up with solutions, and we were problem solvers. With that, we also had to have a lot of good communication.
Well, communication is something you need. We needed then, you need now, you need everywhere. You know, whether it be at work or at home. We all speak English, we all speak Swedish, Swinglish, and we all express ourselves differently. I want to try something out with you guys, okay? When I say nappies, you say diapers. Nappies, diapers. Nappies, diapers. When I say trousers, you say pants. Trousers, pants. Trousers, pants. I actually walked in an argument with my colleagues. One was from the US, one was from England, and they were labeling things, and one of them, they were arguing, it's a clothespin, it's a peg. And then the Canadian walks in and says, well, I know both. Canadians,
They always want peace. And lastly, what we think is the most important thing, Marie and Peter have already talked about it, but it's to have fun. Because when you're having fun at school, you're spreading positive energy, and when you're spreading positive energy, then everything makes everything easier. And to always remember that we're there for the students, we're there for the kids, and they're the most important. They should always be in the center and always be what you're striving for. So lastly, I'd like to say that we started with an idea, and our idea, it became a reality. And I think that if Steve Jobs was here today, he'd actually give Futuraskolan a big thumbs up. Because I think that we took a vision that we had, and we have actually created a reality out of it. So I want to thank actually Malin and Frederick, and Mama and Papa, of course. And I want to thank Marie for believing in us and for taking the chance. And really, I just want to say that Futuraskolan, I've been out there now. I've left you. And I've gone out into the real world. And I can actually confirm this, that we all believe and we all talk about. But Futuraskolan is very progressive. And it is very energetic, and we show respect. And I think it's one of the best companies and best school organizations that you could work for. So I want to say congratulations to all of you that have come on, and enjoy your time.
There are so many success stories, and we'll continue. Here is one more. So please welcome Adriana, who's the mother of Festival.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome for this day. This is a celebration. For those that don't know me, I'm the principal of Futuraskolan International preschools in Täby and Danderyd. I want to say, first of all, before I introduce the next movie, that every single one that works with me, I want to thank you for your great work. The success of the schools wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for you. The hard work you give reflects the vision of Futuraskolan. You are progressive, and we are creating a global organization preparing the kids to become global citizens. So thank you for that. A big applause for Marie-Wagen, Ansa, Danderyd, and Millennials. Thank you. Well, now I want to introduce Futuraskolan for this 10-year celebration. Have chosen a video from Marie-Wagen, which is the preschool in Nesby Park. This school, I have been there for 5 years, working as a principal. Danderyd the last 3 years. And I just took over Leona Tenensta since February, which is really on it. But Marie-Wagen is setting the standard. And I'm so proud of this preschool. One thing I can say, and I know I have 2 minutes, but please. One thing I can say is that nothing happens without a reason. It's the hard work, and hard work, and hard work, and trust, and use what you know, it's knowledge. And changes happen all the time. It's up to us to decide in which direction we want this change to happen. Nothing stands still. So, progressive, it's necessary for us to feel happy. If we are progressing, we are happy. So, what you're going to see here, it's not only IPC. Because when we are working with IPC, then we introduce Jollyphonics. And when we are working with Jollyphonics, then we introduce Judo. And then it's working, and then we introduce capoeira. And it's working, and then we introduce yoga. And then people, it never ends, no? We are having fun. So, this is just to give you a little idea of how much fun we have. And once again, thank you, my amazing staff. I'm nothing without you. And thank you for choosing Futuraskolan. And thank you, the board, for the support, because since February I've been very famous, not such a good way, but for a reason I got your support, and we are going to be, it's already amazing, it's going to be even better, so enjoy.
Thank you. I would like you all to clap your hands, okay? And while we're doing that, I would like to introduce one of your colleagues. Please welcome up on stage, Ferdy and his colleagues. Stage is yours. circle in the foyer where you entered, and we'd like to start the program again at 2:45. Thank you. Any comments on what you heard about work together with the board? How is it to work with these two guys?
Fantastic. No, actually, we do have a very good relationship, and we work very well together, and we have, as we've heard people say earlier, it's very fun when we at work.
Definitely.
You're chairman of the board, but you're still very operative, right?
Yes, I've been with Futuraskolan for 10 years now. So I've had different roles during those years. I've also been the CEO, so for some years I've been very active, and I've been at Futuraskolan every day. Today I'm not that. I'm not visiting you every day, but we see each other often and talk a lot. And
She calls me now and then.
So what does the school mean to you?
It means very much. Like I said, we've had 10 fantastic years together. We've gone from small to big, from Swedish to international, from ordinary and normal to progressive and very special. It has been a fantastic journey, and we're still traveling.
Yeah.
And but to me, Futuraskolan is really special, and it's what I get to think of is progressive thinking, committed employees, staff members with a lot of drive, a lot of energy, and we do have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you could sense all of those things that you mentioned from your colleagues. What would you say is the best thing with running or working with both preschools and schools?
It's that again, that we have so much fun. It gives you so much energy. It really does. We've heard it earlier today, but it really does. I mean, working with those people and feeling the energy and meeting a lot of cultures, people from different countries, meeting our wonderful children, feeling the atmospheres in our schools. It's really something to be proud of. Mm-hmm. And also, a really good thing about working with schools in general is that we are doing such an important thing. We're actually contributing to the society every day. And what you guys are doing, you are making a difference every day and all the time. And that's also something.
Give yourself a hand. Come on.
And I think, Marlon, also one niche is that we're actually getting very good results in our schools. We're not just doing it, but we're showing results.
That's good. If you could use your imagination, how would you describe Futuraskolan International in, let's say, 10 years from now?
Yeah, that's a good question. 10 years is quite a long time, isn't it? But, I mean, the past 10 years have gone by quickly. I would say, first of all, I would like to say that I'm convinced that Swedish schools in general and the Swedish school system will have regained its good reputation from what we see today, maybe. I think we will have a bigger proportion of free schools like ourselves, progressive ones. And I would like to say that a healthy competition on the school market, that will give us more competition, and that will lead to higher quality, more development, a bigger diversity, more different kinds of school, and that will give the children in Sweden a possibility to really find a school that suits their needs and their preferences. That will give us happier students and better student results. And of course, Futuraskolan International will be a leading star in the future as well. I mean, we'll probably grow bigger, there will be more schools. I'm sure that we will be the first choice for everyone in Sweden who wants an international education for their kids, for themselves.
Great. You're not
Wow, we have a bright future ahead of us.
Very good. Sure. So good luck with the future, and thank you so much, Molly, for joining us today.
Thank you. Oh yeah, sorry, Bella. It was just one more thing that I thought of.
Okay, let's go.
There was a school with a clear and certain goal. No, wait a second. Things always get better when you do them together, don't they? So could I please get some music teachers there? Can I get some help from you? I'll need some help from you guys. We're going to sing together now. I think you know the music over here, and the lyrics will be here just behind me. So I want to hear you sing now. We're going to do this together as a team. With a clear and certain goal to be great and international star. There are teachers showing passion for their work to form the greatest school of all. We will go on day by day, and someone, somewhere always makes a change. We are all a part of the Futura family, and the truth, you know, it's all about learning. We see the world, we see the children. So they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free, as you have shown us by turning kids to stars. So we all must lead and show the way. We are the world, we are progressive. Our energy will make a brighter day. We all show
the singers and
Yeah, and the singers.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Is that your national hymn now at school?
Well, if
Yeah.
you make it that.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
We truly got talent, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about your vision, the best stepping stones to future world citizens. What do you really mean by that? It sounds really good and I like it, but I want to know what you really, really mean with that.
Well, I think. Do you want me to?
No, you can start. I'll follow.
I think to be in Sweden, if we're talking Sweden now, to be in Sweden, which is a small country with a language that's not worldwide, I think the jobs that are going to be offered to our children in the future are not going to be found in Sweden, they're going to be international. We see the companies now are international, and we've got to prepare the children for that job market, which is already here, that you're going to be you're not going to be working in one company, you're not going to have one job all year, you're going to have a portfolio and you're going to be working all over, and the education must reflect that. And I think, we have a curriculum in a Swedish national curriculum that is old hat, according to me. It's too controlled. We need much more creative skill development with children where they learn how to learn, not what to learn. And I think that's what we mean. And then you need a language to support around the world. So you need a world language. We've chosen English as our world language.
Yeah, I agree with Marie, and like I said before earlier, diversity is also something within this, because to get to know other cultures, you need to know yourself to get the understanding that you need for other cultures around the world.
Yeah.
And the best of worlds, the schools should be leading the society forward.
Yes.
And we're good on our way, right?
Yeah, keep up that good work.
We will.
Really. And talking about Bergtorp, that is your biggest middle school, right? With 3 distinct profiles?
Yeah, that's correct. They have 3 distinct profiles, and the international profile is one of them.
Yes, which is, we have, actually the whole, Bergtorp is an international school as well as all the other schools. We are driving the programs of learning there as well. But we have one section there we had to start somewhere, and we started in one section, which was a communication class, but now is the international class, and it's spreading throughout Bergtorp. We have a principal there that's on board.
Forward.
And
And it's also something that connects us all, the international profile, of course, and development of that. And here today, to tell us more about that, how they're working with Bergtorp to develop, is Johan.
This is a day of celebrations. I would like to thank Futuraskolan for giving us the opportunity to work with international mindedness, and that we can try to find collaboration in Europe and in the rest of the world, which is very rewarding for our students, we can see. In the background, I'm showing you some pictures from our school, from our 3 profiles, the sports profile, the communication profile, and the music profile. In sports, they have taken part in a lot of different tournaments around the world. For example, in badminton, they went for the European Championships in France in June. They have also been to the World Championships in Taiwan a few years ago. In the international communication profile, we collaborate with 2 schools in Germany. We collaborate with 1 school in the Netherlands. We have a partner school in Poland. Last year, we established a contact in Sri Lanka, but that's only in the beginning of our, it's in the planning stage, so to say. And also a connection in Texas, in America. It's an art school. So it will be a very interesting year, developing all the contacts that we have around the world. And as Marie said, we're going to try to spread it around the school, so it's just not the students within the international profile who will take part in the projects. That's one of our biggest goals. So, once again, I would like to thank Futuraskolan, and I would like to congratulate you on 10 fantastic years. And that's it for me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
The entire world is represented within Futuraskolan, and now we're all going to travel to Nepal. So please welcome Shweta. international mindedness. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? I understand it's a mindset.
Yeah, you know, when you talk about being international or having an international mindset, it's a very hard definition, because what is being international? It's not eating somebody else's food or putting flags out in the classroom or having festivals or, you know, even having connections with other countries. It's actually, like Peter said before, it's actually being very secure with your own culture to be able to understand another culture. And it doesn't become threatening, because if you're very secure in your own, or who you are, then you can also take in others. And when we have these schools and preschools with so many nationalities, we need to know that everyone there is very secure in their own culture, so they can embrace other people's cultures. So we try very much to bring out where similarities are, and I think we don't have a definition for internationalism, but we try and
I'm
promote.
thinking about, do you remember Jane Denby, when she had the lecture at our place? I'm sure you remember as well. She's with the IPC and the IYC. She said that, well, you could have been living in 15 different countries, but still you might not be internationally minded, because it's all about, like Marie's saying, like how you interpret and understand different cultures and
Absolutely.
put it in relation to yourself and your culture.
And everybody knows this, I always say, to be international, it means that somebody does something different or thinks differently doesn't mean they're wrong. You can still hold your thought, but they may not be wrong. And I think that's what we need, and especially in Sweden today, because we are meeting a Sweden with lots of cultures. And you know, the value ground of what we believe in cannot be moved. Never. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about changing our value ground in Sweden, because we're secure with ours, but we have to embrace this. So it's not an easy thing, and it takes a lot of, I've been to read a lot about it and been to a lot of lectures, and it's not easy to define. No.
And it's much about understanding.
Very important though. Yeah, and we'll have someone here to talk a little bit more about that, and this is Chris. Welcome.
Hello everyone, welcome. I'm very happy to share a few minutes with you. I'm not going to dance, so you're lucky. And you're even luckier I'm not going to sing. So I've been asked to share some memories from my time with Futuraskolan, and I've been here since 2011. And there is a lot of discussion about international schools and what is international mindedness. And it's, as Peter and Marie have said, there's not one definition. But for me, when I'm going through these stories and where we're at now and where we're trying to go, I think about change. I think about embracing challenges, open-mindedness, knowing, this has been said, but knowing yourself and your identity, being open to others, taking risks, being able to, let yourself go, take a risk, take a chance, and very much believe and trust in your colleagues and fellow workers. And I think this is crucial, because if you don't have the belief and trust of the people you work with, it's very hard to be open-minded and embrace change and take risks. So this leads us to the year 2011, when through the hard work of Marie and the hard work and vision of the Boysen family, they were able to get an international school permit in Sweden. And now when I'm talking about international school, it'll be a little different context, because there are only a handful of international schools with an international school permit from Skolinspektionen in Sweden. I think there's 8 or 9 in the whole country. So to be able to get a permit for that is not easy. There are only a few in Stockholm, and they are generally very old and have been very established, and were set up for a purpose of serving a temporary population, people that were here on a temporary basis. Marie, because she's Marie, was able to finagle a permit from Skolinspektionen through her hard work. So we actually have Futuraskolan International School of Stockholm that is set up for students temporarily living in Sweden. We have 60 different nationalities at the school. We have an international staff. And we have a complete international curriculum. We don't have anything to do with Lgr 11 or the Swedish school system. So that was my expertise. I've been in international education for the last 25 years, roaming around the world, working in 4 different continents, and I was in the Bahamas actually when the thought of this school took root. And I thought I would be in the Bahamas for the rest of my life, to be honest with you. It was my dream job. I had finally made it. I had been internationally working as a teacher, and then as a principal, and then finally a head of school, a K through 12 IB school in the Bahamas. Our school was 4 minutes from the beach. I was like, great, I'm set, I've made it. But life has a funny way of throwing wrinkles into plans. And in 2011, I found out rather suddenly that I had to, through difficult personal reasons, I had to move back to Sweden. And I was scared. And I was like from on the mountain and tumbling down. And what am I going to do? What is going to happen? So I frantically started trying to find work. And Marie and I had worked previously at Stockholm International School. And so I was throwing lines out everywhere. And I thought, okay, I had lived in Sweden a couple times previously in my life. And I thought, oh, if worse comes to worse, I've heard a rumor that McDonald's has started in Sweden. So I can always get a job flipping burgers until something works out. But luckily, I had an interview with Marie and with Malin, and was the founding principal of the international school. And we had a beautiful, huge building, sort of. I started, I guess the February or March before, they asked me to fly up for a parent meeting for new prospective parents. And there was a beautiful building and signs in the window, Futuraskolan International School, and I thought this was great. And we walked in, and the building was under construction. And there was the aula that was finished, where we were obviously going to have the parent meeting. And there was one classroom finished. And so we thought, okay, great. We'll set this up as the most beautiful classroom in the world. We had all the text that we wanted, we had it decorated, and we had the meeting upstairs in the aula, and the parents were very excited about this idea. And we led them through a stairway to the one classroom and said, look, everything is going to look just like this. And it was enough of a sell job for us to start the first year with 44 students, I think it was, in a building that built for 500 or 600. But the good thing that I've learned through education is that you can have the best facilities in the world, you can have the best curriculum in the world, but to really drive a school, you need the best teachers in the world, because you guys are the backbone of what drives schools. And so we started with 5 or 6 of us, and the school was in such an unfinished state at that time that we met in Delenham, because we didn't have a meeting space to meet in our school. And a couple of them are still around. Sophie Centerman and Todd Ferguson are still working with Futura. And we had 4 or 5 others, and we started a school. And we couldn't have done that if we didn't embrace change, and if we weren't open-minded, and if we didn't take risks, and if we didn't trust and believe in each other. And now, after 5 years, there's 350 students, and massive queues. And I really want to thank the Borgesen family, because they were the ones that, and Marie had alluded to this earlier, international schools in general have been very, for diplomats or people of high prestige, and that they took a chance to start an international school and an international curriculum, 100% English-speaking school in Sweden that was affordable to people, to everyone. It was an amazing risk that they took on their part, and a very worthy thing to do. And our school has flourished because of it. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that. And for me, that draws into our theme of being progressive, because they saw that, no, this kind of value ground is not just for people that can afford it. It should be for everyone. And our school, I think, is far more exciting because of it, because the families and the children that are there span all different, all shapes and sizes. And we too, like the rest of our Futura family, like to have fun. So I think we have a little video that shows when you take chances and risks and have fun and trust each other and work together for the students, because as we've all said, we're here for them. They not only learn, but we can have fun at the same time. So I believe, hopefully, that we have a little film from Futuraskolan International School of Stockholm.
Cue.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well you already know. So just imagine, just imagine, just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Good, good creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling, so just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, 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 come on. Ooh, it's something magical. It's in the air, it's in my blood, it's rushing on. I don't need no reason, don't need control. I fly so high, no ceiling when I'm in my zone. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop, stop, stop. Under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well you already know. So just imagine, just imagine, just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Good, good creeping up on you, so just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance. And ain't nobody leaving soon, so keep dancing. I can't stop the feeling, so just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance, dance, dance. Stop the feeling, yeah. So keep dancing.
You would think that would be a perfect ending for me to leave the stage, but no. Not yet, not yet. The year after we started the international school, Marie came to me and said, you know, the school's growing well, but we got another permit for a well, at this time we called it Stockholm Bilingual, for a bilingual school, and we need to open that up, and it's a great opportunity, and we think that you can lead both schools. And I told her I was apprehensive. I was actually petrified, because I had never worked with the Swedish school system, ever. You know, I could say, hey, and talk. But I did, you know, and this is where you have to be changed, embrace change, be open-minded, believe in your coworkers. So we started Stockholm Bilingual. And again, I thought, okay, and it was very nice that fantastic that the company, the schools had PAIR as their value ground, progressive energy respect. And they had, you know, we will work to have the best future stepping stone for our future world citizens. So I was like, okay, this is international. We can still do this. I needed a lot of help for the Swedish context. So luckily I had star teachers to help me. Particularly I'd like to give a shout out to Matilda Zetterlund and to Johanna Moss, because they were very, very helpful. I had trouble that first year. I thought that, well, do they like me or do they think I'm completely crazy? But we got our value ground together for the school together, working together, and now 2 really vibrant schools exist in the building. Very vibrant, to the point where we are overflowing, and need to look for another building. But that's another story. Maybe that's not in this 10-year speech. But that has led now for me to take a different role in the organization, and I'm going to be working for international mindedness and working with pedagogy with all of the schools. So I really think that, I know that you do so many of these things already, and every person in this room can come up and show a video like we've shown. And I'm thrilled and excited to be working in this context. We started up the last couple of days with IPC and INYC workshops, and I was lucky enough to run one for the beginner course for the new people to Futura, and the excitement that they've shown and the enthusiasm that they have had, I know carries through the organization. So I'm very, very charged and excited. What we're working towards is, this international mindset, and to give the students the best education they can get, because they live in a very changing world where they'll need different skills than we needed when we were in school. And when we work together and when we follow through and look at links, we can get amazing things done. And I'd like to just finish. I'm going to use another sample from the international school because it's what I've known for the last 6 years. But through the IPC curriculum, we worked with our unit, and it was also a big issue in Sweden with immigration. We had started the year before with refugee camps and having our students go out, and we raised money and had bought clothing and gifts, and during Christmas time went out to different refugee camps. The following year, the 5th grade teachers wanted to follow up with that. They did a unit about mobility and people moving, and they asked me, oh, can we get an author in? He's a Syrian, and he was in a refugee camp, and now he's trying to help immigrants in Sweden. And the educator had said, fantastic. My management had said, oh, it's going to be very expensive. I don't know. And we finally decided, yeah, let's do it. Let's take a chance. Let's work with it. Driven very strongly by Nicole McDonald and Catherine Barry. They brought this author in. We worked with him, and then through that, through taking a chance, through making links, through just trusting our colleagues, they came back to us again several months later and said, hey, we heard so much about your school from the Syrian refugee, and he's now authored a children's book, and the BBC wants to do a special on your school. And so we said, fantastic, come on in. So this video that I'm going to show now is a culmination of just what you can do with an open mind and working together. And what the stars of the show, as you'll see in this video, are the children. They're amazing.
One day she had to be evacuated from her home.
They lived in the basement, but they started running out of food and stuff.
On the leave, their boat gets knocked over, and luckily a big rescue boat saved her.
استنفس قصة سارة لما سافرنا بالبحر. خايفة وأنا كنت بالبحر.
I came to Sweden as a refugee about 4 years ago. I got myself a job in engineering, but I couldn't forget about the horrible moments that the kids had been living in the country where I come from. And I decided to create a therapy tool for those kids so they can believe in themselves again.
أنا أصدق مثل سارة وأنا قوية مثلها.
Your friend here, she went to the same journey as Sarah. And she lost her dad as well, just like Sarah did.
سارة إنه كانت بطلة وراح تحقق حلمها، حققت حلمها بالنهاية، وأنا بدي أكون بطل وأحقق حلمي بالنهاية إني أصير رسام.
By making children see the value in each other and empathize with each other's experiences, this will empower integration on the long term.
قصة سارة أو إنه في كتير عالم بيستفيدوا منا وبيفهموا عن قصتنا What's different from my life and Sarah's life is that she has had a lot harder things to go through, while I've just lived in my home country my whole life. Conflicts don't need to happen in the world, and it's just nonsense. And they have to go through a lot in their lives just because of that.
Pretty powerful stuff. They're just nonsense. That's my favorite line of the whole movie. So with that, I would like to say that we are all doing these things together. You're doing them in your schools. We're doing them in our school schools at Erik Dahlbergsgatan, and I'm really looking forward to working with you all in a different role over the next several years. And I'd just like to end by thanking Marie and Malin, the M&M gals, for giving me a chance to work at Futura, and to Peter for giving me a new opportunity at Futura, and to the Borgesen family for having the vision to let us do the work that we do. I couldn't be having more fun. Thank you, and let's have a great night.
Chris is having a new role. You are also taking over the role to lead this fantastic career.
Yeah, I'm filling out Molly's shoes now. Trying to.
What would you say are your primary goals for Futuraskolan?
The primary goals? Where should I begin? Well, we have our aim for the year 2021, like Molly mentioned, like to be a leading provider, leading player on the international scene, giving parents and students an international education. I think that's our primary goal, and keep it like never forget where we come from and who we are and why we're here. It's very important to remember, like we have been discussing. Never forget our vision, our promise, our core values, because that's who we are and that's what we believe in, and that's also what makes us Futuraskolan International. We come together in that. We are unified.
Yeah. What would you say? Are there any challenges? Maybe both hard or exciting, or nobody
we have daily fun challenges, but yeah,
of course,
seriously. But I would say like one challenge that I see is that we've had such a fantastic story growing. Like we heard such a fantastic stories here, how we started and we developed, and now we are 7 schools, 9 preschools. And the vision is to start up new ones as well. And that's a challenge, I think, because that's when you have to like hold on to your vision and who we are again. And that's a challenge, because we have new people coming into us, because they joined us, because they like us, and we like them, so they're here. But at the same time, we need to be able to make them understand who we are, because we don't want to lose ourselves in this ever-changing world of diversity. So it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge at the same time, I would say. Definitely.
Okay, so not diluting your culture is, could you say that's the toughest job going forward, or?
Yeah, because you need to keep it together, because that's why we're here, and that's why we're doing this. We believe in this so strongly.
But you have a lot of ambassadors, obviously.
I truly do, and I think you agree with me. Like, if we look back in history, like we have been doing here, a lot of good examples on where we come from. The future can be nothing but bright, right? We have so much we can achieve with the strengths we have together, with the fantastic staff members and the support of the board. Even harder.
I asked Malin, I'm asking you now, if you can use your imagination, what is Futuraskolan in 10 years? And don't say the same thing as Malin did.
What did you say, Malin? In 10 years, I think we've started more units. We might even be operating in other parts of Sweden than we are today. Other cities, I imagine. It's not...
New York?
Definitely. Someone wants a job in New York? Yeah, and continue to develop and refine what we're doing. I think that's what will keep us on track. It's so important to do that all the time. Like our core values, being progressive and being energetic, that will keep us moving forward. And I think that's what it's all about.
Would you say that's the key for success?
Yeah, I would say it's one of the keys for success, because it keeps us together. Once again, I'll tell you before I say it again, it keeps us together. Don't forget the vision, why we are here. We are here to be the best stepping stone for the future of our citizens. And that's important, because that's what we believe in and work with every day, making a change with the challenges we have. And it's really fun. I really enjoy coming to work every day, I must say, because it gives me so much energy. You meet the staff members, you meet the students, you meet the children. I sometimes even miss teaching. You know, I'm a teacher by profession from the start. So
Yeah, you're very fortunate then.
I'm very fortunate, I must say.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I say something about the 10 years? I know it's directed to you, but I think that...
This is Marie!
Yes. You know, I think in 10 years, everybody's going to know what Futuraskolan is, and everybody's going to want to be there. And we're going to be, they're going to say, if we're going to look for a model for good education, it's going to be Futuraskolan. So we're going to be up there.
Of course we are.
Thank you so much.
I sure did.
Surprisingly fun, I must say.
Yeah, and I
the
must
audience
say,
has been fantastic.
Yeah, and I must say,
I like the
for
shouting
me,
and screaming and the energy.
Yeah, and for me, who joined in 2011, it's really been nice to take part of the stories of today, to get a little more understanding of where it all started and the journey that we are on, a fantastic journey that we are on.
And there's a lot of energy.
Yeah. And it's also exciting to be working within education today, just to relate to what we discussed earlier, because I think, like, in a bigger perspective, we're still in this shift of paradigms. What is knowledge? How does it correspond to skills, understanding? How can the ICT strengthen and enforce learning as we know it today for tomorrow? So it's really fun times, and I'm sure that we will be leading the way as we have been for this 10 years. So, once again, thank you all out there. You are amazing. Bella, our cicerone for today, you survived.
Yes, I did.
You've been with us since 1:30, and you're still alive. So thank you very much for guiding us through this fantastic day when we celebrate our 10 years. It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, it's been an honor to get to know you a little bit and to see your fantastic students and the work you do. I'm really impressed. I'm going to take my girl out of school and bring her someone else.
So thank you. And Marie, here you are. Yeah.
I can thank them as well, yes.
Yeah, but I am not going to let you, because I want to thank you, because as you mentioned in the beginning, this might be Marie's last kickoff. And yeah, it is Marie's last kickoff. And she's guilty for you having me to stand here, because you employed me in 2011. I still remember the interview. It was the most funny interview I've been to. I was called to our preschool, Bragatan. Yeah, still living. And I was put in the staff room because you were late. And we had one lamp bulb, the other ones were broken, so it was kind of dark, and the coffee machine wasn't working, and I was sitting there waiting. And finally Marie arrives, fashionably late, just being Marie.
Busy person.
Very energetic, very friendly. We had the talk, we had the interview, and I remember you said you were talking about you were going to hire this new company for providing ICT, like cabling and stuff. And she said to me, they're so good because they're the only company that's gotten me to understand ICT a bit. So I'm going to go with them. They're the best. And I thought, well, she seems crazy enough for me to work here, so maybe I hope I'll get the position, and I did. And I must say that two things that characterizes you to me is that you're a strong-minded lady. I like that. You know what you want and you go for it, and combined with you being this fantastic people's person, it's really a winning concept, I would say. Totally. And I think you've been really fantastic mentor for me. So give it up for Marie. But you're not going yet. You're still going to be here.
I'm still around.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to be living in Sweden.
I'm moving to Australia.
Yeah, thank you for that, Peter. Your memory is better than mine, the interview.
Maybe I lied.
But it was a good appointment. Thank you.
And you will be staying for tonight's party,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes. I always
It's
stay
going to be
to
a
parties.
dinner.
I'm staying, you're staying.
Party, but don't leave. There's a final number.
Yes.
And what else if not the teacher's band? Bring them up on stage.
Introducing the music teachers band, the Progressions. We're also very respectful and energetic.
For readings, dinner and dancing.
18:30.
So it's
We'll continue
6:40. Quarter to 7. So quarter to 7, readings at Gamla Riksarkivet. See you there. Thanks.